what is going to happen to humanity, to all of us, when the computer, which can outthink man accurately, much more quickly, rapidly, and if that can do, as the computer experts are saying it can, with the help of the robot, man will then only have a couple of hours of work a day. What will man do? Either he is going to follow the entertainment field, which is already taking place. Sports are becoming more and more important if you watch the television. Entertainment, different forms, football, all that is happening. And also religious entertainment. Either humanity is going to follow the whole movement of entertainment, or is going to turn inwardly, which is not an entertainment, which demands much greater capacity of observation, examination, non-personal perception, and so on, inwardly. These are the two possibilities. The computer can formulate a new religion, putting all the religions together, synthesize, bring out something totally new. And humanity, which is another form of entertainment, will follow that, or enter into something totally different. That's one problem. And the other is the whole content of our consciousness is basically fear, pleasure, the pursuit of pleasure, and the avoidance of fear, and the suffering of mankind. That's the basic content of our human consciousness with its varieties, right? And also, whether the brain can be totally free so as to function wholly. Because any specialization, any following a certain path, certain groove, certain pattern, must inevitably make the brain function partially and therefore limited energy. We live in a world of specialization. Engineers, physicists, surgeons, carpenters, the whole mechanical world, and also specialization of a particular belief, of a particular dogma, rituals. They're all specializations. And those certain specializations which are necessary, like surgeons, carpentry, and so on, whether that in spite of that specialization, whether the brain can function completely, wholly, not partially, and therefore have tremendous energy. This is, I think, a very serious question which we have to inquire together. If you observe your own activity, one's own activity, you will find more and more that the brain functions only in a way, the brain operates only very partially, very, very little. And therefore, our energy becomes less and less and less as we grow older. Biologically, physically, when we are young, we are full of this vitality. But as we get educated, follows a livelihood, you need specialization. That brain becomes small, narrow, limited, and therefore the energy becomes less and less and less. But it has its own vitality, right? So we are asking whether that brain, though it may have to have certain form of separate specialization, not necessarily religious, because that's superstition, we can put all that out. Whether, suppose I'm a surgeon, I have to specialize. Whether in spite of that, the brain can operate wholly. It can operate only wholly, completely, with all the tremendous vitality of million years behind it, only when it is completely free. If the brain cannot be so totally free, it will begin to deteriorate. Because when it is occupied with problems with specialization, livelihood, and so on, it's active. The brain is active. But when the computer takes over this activity, the brain will have less and less problems, and therefore gradually deteriorate, right? This is happening. It's not something in the future. It's actually happening now when you observe one's own activity. You may have other forms of consciousness, group consciousness, racial consciousness, national consciousness, the consciousness of a particular group, the consciousness of the Catholic group, the Hindu group, and so on, so on. But basically, the consciousness with its content is fear, pleasure, pursuit of pleasure, pain, sorrow, death, right? This is the central content of our consciousness.